And just because somebody waves at you, you might give him the acknowledgement. That doesn't mean that you are obligated to follow suit and do what it looks like it was indicated to be done. As you can see the situation right there, Lake Street as he darts down to the inside of Rick Wilson after trailing him for the last couple of laps. Does he have the advantage? Well, no. Rick is holding on. Oh, they get very close going through turn 3 and 4. Just not enough momentum to get by that time.
Oh, we have a car spinning.
It looks like Harry Gant.
Car spinning is Harry Gant to the inside of the racetrack. Now he goes up into the banking, and another car collides with him. Heavy contact with the wall in turn number 4.
Looked like Ricky Rudd. The paint job looks like Bud Moore's number 15. There's Harry, who started it. He was spinning down on the bottom of the track near the apron. He was racing with Ken Schrader. We could not tell from the angle whether or not there was contact between those two cars, but Harry Gant, the black lug, continues.
That is a badly damaged race car. Ricky Rudd coming in heavy contact with the wall. He was actually pinned against the wall by Harry Gant, whose car slid up the banking after spinning low on the track.
Ricky is moving around inside there, Bob. The signs look good here. He looks like he's trying to find a way to get out, looking for the connections on the window net. He drops the net down and now on buckling, and Ricky Rudd decides to wait it out until the safety crews get there. This is Harry's second accident of the year. He had a wreck also at Atlanta, and for Ricky Rudd, remember, he was involved very prominently in the accident that sidelined Terry Labonte, or threatened to sideline Terry, with the broken shoulder bone. This is the third accident that Ricky has been involved in this year, and those have not been his fault.
6th caution period of the afternoon, and once again pit stops being made. Work done on Dale Earnhardt's car. They changed rubber on the right side, and now they're changing rubber on the driver's side of the car. And the crew wiping off the windshield. Quick pit stop for Dale Earnhardt. Out he goes once again.
Bob, I'll tell you, he has not dominated as we look at work being done in the Kyle Petty pit. He has not dominated like he has other races this year, but they are still very much in it.
There is Harry Gant, who's crawling out of that race car after he spun in turns number 3 and 4 and then hit the wall.
The apron breaks off reasonably suddenly. It's not a surefire thing that you're going to spin out if you drop down below it, but normally you are. Now remember, Harry's car is green and white. Let's see if we can pick it up on the screen. The spin has already begun. There is Schrader just jerking just a little bit to try and get around. And wow, right in Ricky Rudd's path. Ricky was just trying to make the only move that he could, and that was to squeeze between Harry and the track, or the outer retaining wall of the track, and there just wasn't enough room, and more importantly, not enough time.
Nowhere to go. Look at the impact. Tremendous. Ricky Rudd hitting the rear end of Harry Gant's car, then coming in contact with the wall, and some badly damaged machinery, but no driver injuries as Ricky Rudd and Harry Gant have both climbed out. And here's the shot that we had on the air. Harry is the third car in line. There he loses it.
I'll tell you, it was right directly in front of Ken Schrader, and it was not possible to tell from that angle whether or not there was contact, but the odds would indicate that there may well have been.
So Ricky is waving to the crowd, indicating that he is just fine. In fact, turning down a ride to the hospital. He's going to walk back to the pit area. Caution once again at the Winston 500. That has suffered some damage in this Harry Gant-Ricky Rudd accident. Ken Schrader, as you can see, a hole in the front of that car. It'll obviously affect its handling and performance. But Ken Schrader was not directly involved in the crash. Harry Gant and Ricky Rudd having a collision up in turn number 4. Both of those cars out of the race as Ken Schrader comes in for a pit stop.
Not directly involved unless you consider that being one of the catalysts of it makes you involved directly or indirectly, Bob. But I'm convinced now that there was contact between Kenny and Harry Gant down on the bottom of the racetrack. We could not tell from the angle whether or not Harry slowed or whether or not Kenny crept up on him. But Kenny Schrader and Gant did make contact, sending Harry into that spin. There's Neil Bonnet.
Bonnet making a pit stop here in our 6th caution period of the afternoon, and we are at exactly the halfway point. So 4 hours and about 20 minutes after it started, we have finally reached the halfway point. And again, for those of you who just joined us, the reason this race is going so long is because we were red for 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 14 seconds, a Winston Cup record for red period. And that was because Bobby Allison went crashing into the wall here in the Tri-Oval and tore down about 100 feet of fencing, which separates the spectators from the racetrack. That all had to be repaired and it took over 2.5 hours. Bobby Allison was not injured. There were a couple of other cars involved, including Phil Parsons and Cale Yarborough. They were not injured also, so no injuries from that serious crash. By the way, the record for the longest red period until today was at Michigan International Speedway.
And that record still stands. I think they had like a 4 or 5 hour delay. Finished that race at 9:30. It was an 8.5 hour marathon. Dick Bergen is right now with Ricky Rudd.
Ricky, first of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think Harry's going to be all right, too. It looked like, I don't know exactly what triggered it. When I got there, Harry was spinning and came up the racetrack in front of me, and I got into him.
By the looks of your car, it was a very heavy crash.
Well, it was right hard contact mode there. Stretched my neck a little bit.
But he's still a good sport. He walked the whole length of the garage area here to give us the interview. Ricky Rudd, okay after a tough one.
Nice young man, Bob, I'll tell you. Ricky's a good guy, and they've had a pretty good season by and large. When they've been able to avoid the accidents, which have not been their fault, they have been a consistent top 5 candidate.
Gant's car on the flatbed being taken back to the garage area. Well, let's check our mid-race recap right now. Presented by Napa. The leader at the halfway point was Davey Allison. It was under a caution period, however. The average speed to this point, 154.213. We've had 7 leaders and 11 lead changes. 6 caution periods for a total of 25 laps. There are some of the cars that have dropped out of competition, including the number 22 of Bobby Allison, who was involved in the accident that caused the red flag. And other cars that have dropped out of competition include Chet Phillip, Jeff Bodine, Phil Parsons, Cale Yarborough, Ron Bouchard, and Alan Kulwicki. Joe Ruttman, Buddy Baker, Phil Barkdahl, Jimmy Means, Harry Gant, and Ricky Rudd have also called it quits for the afternoon.
High attrition rate, Bob, and we've already exceeded the normal number of 3 or 4 caution flags at Talladega. It's been a tough day.
Rick Wilson getting some service on that car, pulling out of the pit area once again. Is going to maintain the lead here, as he is the second car behind the pace car, but the leader of this race, and Terry Labonte right there in the Budweiser car in second. We'll be back with more of our live coverage in just a moment.